Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here yelling into the void once again. Freedom through fitness, get resolve. This is Maurice Shelton once again coming to you live from Kanagawa, Japan, parts unknown. Yeah, so maybe I can just talk about a promise that I made to myself, um, to some other people. So I have a son who is um, he's interested in track and field right now. So he's training to be a 100-meter sprinter. And it's funny how life, just everything, everything's a cycle. So sometimes through your children, you can relive your childhood or relive the experiences that you had when you were a little bit younger. And you get that sense of deja vu. Um, yeah, but for me, waking up in the morning and trying to get stronger or faster or better at something was always the least favorite part of the process. Um, Even to this day, I enjoy it. Well, I should say I hate it less now because I like to think I'm a little bit more mature. But when I was younger, um, it was just it was terrible. And I think if anybody is watching this, or will watch this, they understand exactly what I'm talking about. Um, Now, because my metabolism is slowed and uh, um, I can't get away from eating a bunch of foods and not gaining weight or having my body change, um, I have to do that work. Um, and it's been a it's been a struggle. I can say that. Many people would say that life comes at you in waves. So the ebb and flow of things is usually what you have to kind of learn how to manage as you get older. Injuries, sickness. So I'm dealing with a little bit of a head cold right now, but I still got out this morning and trained with my kettlebell. I trained with my mace. I call my mace Maceo. Um, did a few plyometric exercises, and then I ran, which I haven't been doing lately just because of the weather. But the weather was good enough this morning that I could go out and run with my son, and help him get motivated to reach that next plateau. Because I just found out we have a competition on April 12th, and that was a little bit sooner than I thought it would be. I thought he had until after spring, completely after spring break, during May, he would get a chance to show how much he's improved. But that's not the case. So life gives you lemons. You make some lemonade, throw some sugar in that shit. Yeah. Um, yeah. So now I'm a little bit more motivated to help him reach that next level because he made a promise to himself. He got a little daruma, and I won't tell you all of the stuff that he put on there, but one of the things that he put on there is that he wanted to reach a certain time as a 100-meter sprinter. And I take it personally. He might not, but I take it personally because um, a wiser person than me told me, a man is only worth his word. If people understand and they trust that they can depend on you, um, that type of person is worth way more of their weight in gold. It's very hard to find. It's very rare to find someone who is very dependable and trustworthy. I've experienced that firsthand, um, just as a regular person. I don't consider myself to be extraordinary in anything except maybe you know recalling trivia. But the people that I've run into over my over 4 decades of life, I guess you could say 5 decades, yeah. Um, I can count on one hand the people that I could say, the true blue. I can trust them all the way with like things that I, would consider like life or death. You know, and again, if that's not the case, and obviously I'm growing in terms of my ability to perceive and to observe the world around me, it's always developing. It's always a work in progress. Yeah. I joke with my people and they say, oh, you're always talking about the process, a process, a process. When is the process going to complete? It doesn't. Life, um, like anything within life, it's a process that if you really love it, it continues on until you die. And even after you die, you'll the repercussions and the reverberations of what you've done in this mortal coil will continue to affect people. Cycles. Like, for example, if you happen to be an abusive person, that abuse lingers on far, far long after you're physically here. And then the people that were affected by that abuse, they perpetuate that abuse. They rehash it, they recycle it onto another generation. So when you give your word to not do something or to do something, even um, it's very impactful. And I've had people come up to me and they say, regarding the things that I've done in the entertainment world as well as the legal world, it's made an impact on them and it's helped them keep going, helped them to get resolve, to find that resolve to face another day even. And that keeps me going. It's a positive feedback loop. Also, a sense of like self-worth is increased, I think, if you can just do what you say you're going to do. Like, it's nothing better for me than to say, okay, I'm gonna hit all my macros today. I'm not gonna pig out on sweets or eat too much yakiniku or carbohydrates without working out. I'm not gonna lay around the house and not be productive. I'm gonna do audition. I have to set out a goal for myself, and then when I hit those goals, it's a fantastic feeling because if you can't trust yourself, who can you trust? If you can't depend on yourself, who can you depend on, right? It starts with yourself. Um, and I think it cuts both ways. I think, and I've talked about this before in public, and I've had this conversation with other people in private. One of the reasons why you see a strain of conservatism or like chad, whatever you want to call it, like reactionary, parochial, like outlooks on life amongst athletes and people that are very interested in fitness and health is because the buck stops with you. So you have a lot of people that will say, well, I did it, why can't you? I lost the weight, why can't you? I disciplined myself to not eat like a pig, why can't you? um, and um, and it kind of flattens out the lived experiences of many other people that might not have the same abilities or same circumstances as those people who happen to be conventionally attractive, or they're super athletic, or um, just super skilled at some particular sport. Um, and I try to have empathy, because knock on wood, I'm still able-bodied. I could get up this morning. I'm very thankful for that. I could wake up this morning and move my legs, move my arms, move my whole body with someone that I love, and revel in that, in the joy of being able to move without someone trying to restrict me. You know, so I have people that are incarcerated. I have people that are physically disabled in my life that I love, and I'm trying to make sure that for the sake of them, I don't waste that chance to enjoy my body as it is right now. And one of the reasons why I got into fitness, or I don't want to say I got into I've always been into fitness, but where I said I can make the fitness industry, my uh, way of making a living, because many people take it for granted that they have a baseline of health, that they um, that they can move, that they're not sick, that they're not bedridden. And I think with the pandemic that happened or is happening still, but we saw the beginning of it 5 years ago. a little over 5 years ago, many people had to confront the fact that, you know, your neurotypicalness, um, your um, your mobility, your health can be taken just like that, and it's not something to be trifled with. It's not something to take for granted because it could happen all in the blink of an eye. One day you're hanging out with your friends, having a beer, walking around, like just not caring about anything else, and then the next you're hooked up to, you know, a respirator. You know, I know people that have passed from um, the symptoms of COVID, and you know, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Um, Not most people. I would say 99.99% of people. I wouldn't wish that type of pain on them, because I don't care that much about them. The people that I do care about, you know, obviously, I want them to live long, full, and healthy lives. Um, and yeah, when I was growing up, you know, I had my scrapes with the hospital, you know, being sick or being injured. I had to deal with Osgood-Schlatter, which is better known as like growing pains. I've dealt with chronic back pain all my life, and I always said to myself when I was younger, I'm like, if you all know the song from Skee-Lo, like, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her. Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat, a 6'4" baller. That was my mantra for a long time. I'm like, yeah, um, if I could just dunk, if I had the ability to dunk a basketball, to run really fast like I used to when I was a younger child, and to be able to move around without pain, I would be so thankful to whoever would give me that ability. And when I woke up and I looked in the mirror, I'm like, well, no, the person that's going to give me that ability, or to give me that uh, the motivation to do all of those things, is the person staring back at me, which is another tangent. You know, that's why I love the song "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson. It starts with you. Charity starts at home. Shout out to Fonte, you know. Um, so one way to keep a healthy mind is to keep a healthy body. So I was always, you know, from an early age, my mother instilled in me values of like fitness and health. You know, just being active, because if you don't use it, you will lose it. So eating healthy, um, participating in team sports, really, because you know you have to know how to play and get along with others. Um, and that's a part of the socialization process as well. So you can not be in a bubble or be in a silo when you have you know, things that take you away from the original goal of being fit, right? So if you have friends that motivate you to go to the gym and lift weights, you know, it's much easier to do that when you have other people counting on you, right? So at Resolve, we try to create, you know, communities, or one big community. We have sub communities of people that hold each other accountable in a friendly way. There's no yelling and screaming, you know. With my clients, I try to be a taskmaster, but I do realize like my upbringing is way different from other people's upbringing. I'm from America, and like many of my clients are Japanese. There's some overlap, but a lot of stuff is just, you know, foreign to them. Um, so we try to champion inclusivity, you know, um, having openness and transparency. Um, it's a safe space for everyone. You know, it doesn't matter if you're neurodivergent, if you're um, if you're mentally disabled or physically disabled, you have a place in Resolve. Uh, if you're not cis hetero, you got a place at Resolve. You know, if if you're missing a limb, if you are hard of hearing or deaf, you have a place here with us at Resolve, and that's around the world. I try to champion that as much as possible. Anybody that I left out, you have a place. As long as you're not a jerk, you're not trying to actively harm other people, you have a place within Resolve. And um, when you realize that um, the the things that make us different are far outpaced and dwarfed by the things that make us the same. Anybody that's trying to get fit or trying to look like their quote unquote ideal self, They want to feel safe while doing it. A lot of times when people run away from, good dieting habits or consistent activity, physical activity, it's because of the fear of rejection, the fear of acceptance, because self-acceptance requires you to be honest, and it requires you to be transparent with yourself. I wouldn't say brutally honest, but sometimes the truth is brutal because it's wrapped in a lot of trauma. It's wrapped in a lot of pain. For me, I had to confront the fact when I was a professional fighter, many of the injuries that I left unaddressed as a young man because, hey, I got a six pack, so everything's okay. They pop back up, and those things they linger in the back of your head when you're about to get in the ring in front of hundreds or thousands of people, for their entertainment to get beat up. So I had to be honest with myself when I started getting ready for these spectacles. What is it that I want to get out of being fit or showing that I have mastery of a certain martial art, which is mixed martial arts? I think that's a discipline in and of itself. What is it that I want in general? Like when I get up in the morning, how do I want people to perceive me? How do I want people to regard me? Right. But most importantly, how do I want to regard myself? That's even more. I mean, you could cut out all the other stuff. How do I want to look at myself can I look at myself in the mirror in the morning? Can I be proud to just say, yeah, I'm him. I'm that guy, because all the stuff that's added up over time, the things that I've done, the things that I've experienced, does it add up to something worthy, noteworthy, or fulfilling? I had a silly idea when I was fighting that, yeah, well, people are going to know my name and they're going to remember me and they're going to respect me, because one of the pet peeves that I had when I was younger is not being regarded as serious, as someone that should be taken seriously. And that meant like by the women that I was interested in and the people that I wanted respect from, like athletically, like other young men. But then when I got a little bit older, then I realized, okay, well, that means less than zero to me if I don't accept myself, if I'm not comfortable in my own skin. And having fun with myself or being able to enjoy my own company is far more important than what some stranger halfway across the world thinks, So in that, how you do one thing is how you do other things. So if I can feel good in the morning, getting up and just being able to move my shoulders, being able to move my knees without, too much pain, that's a feather in my cap, because not everybody's going to understand that. Like the process of you trying to get to that point. I think many people, I mean, this is a universal human condition, but oftentimes we fall into the trap of just forgetting that we are all human and that we all have similar outlooks. Whether or not, they line up completely doesn't matter. It's pretty much the same thing. You want to be safe. You want to, you want to feel secure in your position. And yeah, you want to feel like life is, it has a meaning, it has worth, to continue. That's why some people, if they do pursue martial arts, or if they pursue a certain sport, it means something, because you can build industry off of it. You can keep people from suicide. You can keep people from a whole bunch of things, yeah. So I'm gonna put a poll in the chat. I know I'm talking to the void right now, but maybe somebody will check this out. Hi to the one viewer. Hello. Say hello in the chat, please. I'm going to ask a question here. When should I have the next live stream? Should I make this a regular thing? I don't know yet, because this is time consuming. Like I said yesterday, this is pretty therapeutic actually for me. So I don't mind doing it, because I work as a voice actor. If you can see, this is my part of my booth. I got my mic right there, and I try to make a little bit of money to support the movement. Um, yeah, when should I live stream? All right, so I got a poll there. Yeah, so what else did I want to talk about today? I don't know. So I have to get ready. Um, I have a few jobs coming up. I have some clients coming to the gym today. If anybody's interested in joining online session, I'll put in the chat. Again, you can contact me at Get Resolve on Instagram. If you want to send a message here, I'm putting my email address, the general info mailbox for the gym, info@getresolve.org. Any and all the questions I am okay with answering. Like I said, I'm a pretty open book. I'm pretty comfortable, relatively comfortable in my own skin. It's not much that can shake me nowadays, except the people that I answer to, which is it consists of my family. Those are my bosses. So here's another thing. I just had to talk to somebody, or I had to explain myself here. So if anybody doesn't know, I live in Japan. Kanagawa, to be exact. So that's Kanto. So that's Kawasaki, Yokohama, other parts, right near Tokyo. And one of the things that I realized in starting the brand Resolve is that whole process of self-actualization and like figuring out who I was, it just confirmed a few things that we all kind of know as common sense. Like, no one likes to be told what to do, right? If anybody out there has kids, and how many times a kid will tell you no, like a small child, right? They're like, eat your vegetables. No, I don't wanna, right? That voice, that part of you is always there in your psyche. When I came to Japan, um, that voice got louder because I had people in America saying, well, why are you staying in Japan? Because when I moved to Japan, it was actually about almost 14 and a half years ago. So I came here in September of 2010. And right after that, if you know Japan, on 3/11, we just celebrated the 14th anniversary of the earthquake and the tsunamis that hit Tohoku. And the nuclear reactor shut meltdown and all that stuff. So I had many people from all over the world. They're like, "Oh, are you okay? Have you become Godzilla yet?" I'm like, no. It just made me more determined to try to like make something out of nothing here. Because when I came here, I didn't really expect to stay that long. But 15 years later, I find myself back in Japan. I left for a little bit, but I came back. But then all these people telling me, okay, well, this is how you should live your life. You shouldn't do this. You should do that. But I'm like, well, you don't really care about me as a person per se. It's just your insecurities being reflected back to me. Your own personal insecurities, and I don't know where those insecurities come from. So I can't really value your judgment over my own judgment, right? And that goes for anybody that I respect their intellect and their wisdom as somebody, that might be my elder, my parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, whoever. Like, I know what's going on with me more than you know, right? I would hope so. And yeah, it's been a wild ride. But I tell people all the time, like, if you ever decide to become an immigrant, and I think my supporters in America maybe know this, dealing with immigrants there now, because America's a nation of immigrants, voluntary and involuntary. You know, I'm a descendant of people that are involuntarily sent to America. Um, it requires you to dig deep into to really figure out what you're made of. If you're here and you're one of a few that doesn't have the support or the structure of the mainstream helping you out. So to my black folks out there in America, you know, yeah, we've always had to be resourceful. So for me, it wasn't that big of a shock to come here. It was just maybe another added like layer or level to like figuring out how to make something out of none, how to make $1 out of 15 cents. That's what I'm still trying to do even to this day. Um, and still look cool while doing it, not looking too clumsy or clunky or awkward while doing it, you know, because I have people still reaching out and saying, "Well, how do you do that? Like, share with me your secrets." No secrets, you know. It's just believing in yourself. It sounds very trite, it sounds very like cliche, but like the reason why I chose the name Resolve for my branding is because I just was determined. You know, I didn't waver when it came to trying to make a life here. And there's still a lot to be written. You know, there's still a lot more stuff to be talked about. It's not even over by halfway, you know. So I tell anybody that might be listening to this or will watch this later, don't give up. You can do it. You have to believe in yourself, though. If you believe that you've lost or that you will lose, then yeah, you've already lost, right? And it's the same for winning. Whatever you decide that you can be successful at, try to make a picture of what it looks like. What does it look like to be successful? Whether that's in sports, life, your relationships. Um, what does it look like, or what doesn't it look like? Because a lot of times people don't even have a clear view of what it means to be successful or what it means to be happy, right? In your present state now, are you happy? Are you satisfied? Well, what would the opposite look like if you're not? And how much are you willing to do to make it look like that opposite? When I talk to my little ones, I ask them, okay, well, how bad do you want it? Do you want it halfway? You want somebody else to do it for you because it's your life. Some people are used to having people do for them. And I would say, this is my own personal opinion. You're free to disagree. That's one of the saddest things that you can resign yourself to as a thinking, able-minded, able-bodied human being, is having someone be obligated to do for you when you're fully capable of doing it for yourself. I'm not saying, okay, so for example, I have disabled people in my family. Now, if you have to wipe my butt because I pooped myself, then yeah, that's just part of life, right? I would do the same for you if we have that deep of a bond, you know. I've done it several times. I've had many children. I've had to wipe. I've had to take a lot of wet naps and a lot of baby wipes and apply to poop. You know, that's just part of it. That's my obligation. I made that choice, though. All right. We all have an obligation to one another. We're all connected, right? But there are some things that you have to fulfill on your end of the bargain, right? So that means, for example, no one tells you you're obligated to be a good person, but it would be beneficial for you to be a dependable person, to be resolute in your word, right? To try to endeavor to be faithful, to be trustworthy, dependable, all that stuff. It works out because if other people do that, then you know we're all happier, we're all better for it, right? But you have to make that choice. I mean, we all have choices, yeah. So I'll leave you with this: freedom through fitness. You know, if you change your heart and change your mind to be better, all the freedom of movement, the freedom of thought, freedom of expression, all that will follow. You just got to follow through with what you believe in, and what you envision as success. I believe in you. You can do it. Gambare. All right. I'm out of here. I'll talk to you all soon. I don't know when, but yeah, let me get out of here. Peace.